Why do you think the bar is so? I'm like, nigga, like, I don't. What's wrong with it? That nigga been that's not funny. I mean, they trying to get black. Hey, stop, boy. What?
Everything I seen was a test. I was born to be a soldier, nevertheless. This is the life that I chose. It's the life that I chose. It's the life that I chose. It's the life that I chose.
That nigga looks like a man story about it. Like, you got, but he rap and he always wants to go
Alegria de Goió é curtir o verão. Alegria de Goió. Alegria de Goió. Alegria de
It's all about the shots, the tiny little moments.
Hey.
I know.
Right now, I'm just going through this one myself.
Lo mismo. Es para los demás que también necesitan estar para eso. A ver.
Yo hace por suave, pero como yo, ella le gusta bailar, si la ves a lo que puede cantar duro. Bueno, pero tengo otra, puedo cantar.
Dale. Ponte ahora sí rápido. Duro, con más fuerza para que te salga la televisión ahí.
Equipados para la guerra, puro personaje. Cualquiera nos malicia si le damos al can. Puro chamo bueno, es el de vida. Aparte sin miedo, pase lo que me pase. Soy JJ, 66, y en la foto me combina, me parezco a Lucifer, ando cuidando el terreno, estamos para defender. Sus asumanos si me quieren conocer. Y ando el aparato, al gato, nada más chequeando el dato, matamos o morimos, son las órdenes que... Ahora paso, ando en la brecha de la Lima, mi patrulla guerrilla, el tiro de Pancholina, mi tita pasa la mar, mi tillo a la metralleta, gaché la mirada sin pelines, me cuenta la gente que se mira una ropa, botó una cena, ahí termina.
Like 3 o'clock, we're trying to be set up, serving food. 6 o'clock, we're trying to be done. This is going on.
So if I stayed up until 11 tonight, that would be 2 days.
No, tomorrow morning it'll be 2 days.
The way them brothers were talking yesterday, we won't be done before then.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, what time did they kick them out of the immigration center? Did they give you like a...
Okay, so they get there to the immigration station, or whatever the place is called, and then they get 3 days to like get their affairs in order. So wherever they have to go, whether it's Chicago, Cali, wherever they have to go, they only get 3 days. Once that 3 days is up, they get kicked out on the street. And that's what was told to the brothers yesterday, because they was expressing to us that when they out there sleeping, when they out there minding their own business, when they out there asking for food and you know what I mean, like they want help and shit, the feds, the police come around and they kick them, tell them get up out of here. You know what I mean? Or they tell them get out of this parking lot. You know what I mean? But that's what's happening over there, bro.
How do you feel about what's going on over the Hispanic brothers in the immigration center?
It's disappointing because you could tell just how disorganized the whole situation is. You know what I'm saying? Like the handling of it is half-assed. You know, they're being thrown out into the wilderness with nothing. You know what I mean? Not given any kind of resources or anything to really hold them up once they get here, once they get processed. And so, you know, this is just a very light, how do I say, a small example of what we're trying to do. When you see the cooking going on, all the preparation, all the clothes that we bring into the table, is we're just trying to give them a bit of brotherhood and hope, that let them know that somebody here does care for them, because they may be getting the wrong impression when they come over here and they get pretty much processed like they're just another number thrown into the country, right? And so we're here to show them that they're not just a number. In fact, if they are going to be a number, we would hope that they join the school and become part of the 144,000. Then that's a number that's worth being, right? So we out here to let our people know who they are. We're out here to let them know that we love them, we care about them. And there's nothing that's going to stop us from doing that. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that's going to stop us from doing that.
How do you feel about, like, you know, how the police treat them and everything? You know, how they treat them and they kick them in the dirt?
They'll be the first to tell you that they're just trying to do their job. They're being told to do that, right? But we know all too well throughout history, the way that they've looked at us is like we're just something to be stepped on, like a cockroach, like a varmint, something that needs to be moved out the way, something that is an eyesore to the city. But this city wouldn't be existed without a family to try to come back out here to make a living, to try to escape the turmoil that they're getting from where they come from. Man, it's crazy how the police just see them as just, you know what I'm saying? It's like they get thrown straight into the system and treated just like the rest of us here. You know what I'm saying? No special treatment. But if they come from the Ukraine, if they come from Palestine, they come over here, they'll get housing, they get the red carpet rolled out for them. It's a whole different spirit behind how the police treat them. But when it comes to our people, they've been programmed to dislike us because of the media, because of the politics, the politicians, the people in leadership, the people in power are always trying to put a negative light on us. And that's the reason why these people will go and treat us that way.
Adiós. Adiós. Tell them una línea, por favor. Una línea, por favor. Línea. What I get. What's going on?
Sticking to it. That's right. Now you can't. One, she was like, no, we don't.
See how that cop just drove by like,
yeah, that's a hedge protection around there. That nigga need people to break down over there.
yeah, I see him over there.
That nigga pulled Ecclesiastes. So
Yeah.
Getting that brain still.
So like, what I do, I need to put on my flash.
You should copy off.
All right, I think I'm
Ella vive contigo. Es conmigo.
Shalom. Officer $5,000 Isupk, San Antonio.
Sign Christ. Let's see what we got going on here today.
Absolutely.
Just let people know, you know what I'm saying, what we doing out here exactly.
All right, so we under Commander General Yohana, we were commissioned to go out to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to not only give them their identity, but to give them the things that they need. Their identity being the number one thing. You know what I mean? Who they are, according to the Bible, is an inheritance from the Lord. You are an inheritance. If you're Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you are an inheritance. You're the Lord's inheritance. Let me just say it like that. You're the Lord's inheritance, which means that you are promised things that no other people on the earth are promised. You understand? So giving you your identity, giving our people their identity is the first thing that we do in Isupk. After that, we use that and give them not only their identity, but tell them the things that are those laws, statutes, and commandments that are going to help them to be able to become more of a quality people like the Lord intended us for us to be. And right now, we are impoverished people. We are in different places all throughout the four corners of the earth. And we are living in a totally, hellish condition, man. So in the Isupk and the Commander General Yohana, we've been given the truth, man. The Lord's given us the truth, and now we're making these dry bones live again. We're giving them the identity, the knowledge. We're giving them food. We're giving them water. As you can see, children, women, all of these people are out, and they need us, man. So that's what we're doing, man. We come out, you know what I mean? It's something that we made an oath to do, man. We made an oath to do it, man. I ain't got really much to say, but
I'm gonna just ask, how do you think the reception is of these people to come over here, deal with what they had to go through, and then to see something so out of the norm, such as what we got going on here? How do you think, how powerful would you assume that this is really resonating with the people that are experiencing this?
Absolutely. I definitely know it's resonating with them. You know what I mean? When you look at society in every nation that you look at, whether it's America, African, the nations, the countries that are in Africa, Europe, they have resources, they have foundations, organizations that are set up to give out resources, but a lot of them cater to their own people.
Right.
They cater to their own people. You know what I mean? They got Red Cross. They don't go out to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. FEMA and all that. They give us foil blankets and cookies and tell us to beat it. But when you look at the Arabs and the Ukrainians and all of them, they get Airbnbs, they get food stamps, vouchers, all types of things that the government has to offer in an abundance. So when our people come and they see this, what we have here, they know that we are truly for them. They know that these people here are truly for us. And that's all we're for. We're not for anybody else. We're not for the Arabs. We're not for the Africans. We're not for the so-called Caucasian man. We are for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians only. And that's who we're going to cater to, because every other nation has every resource you can think of except us. So that's why we cater to our people more specifically and only. And they do appreciate it, and they recognize it.
Anybody that comes across us on YouTube, how could they get involved with these community efforts and things like that?
I mean, we got to you go to isupk.com, right? isupk.com. You can make a donation there. Every zone has a different camp, right? This is San Antonio, ISUPK San Antonio. We have a Cash App, $1 West San Ann. You can donate there. Other than that, it's nothing better than putting boots on the ground.
Right.
Put some boots on, come out here. These men like myself, these brothers that's holding the camera, these brothers that's behind here that's setting up this and organizing this, we set this up because we said we're going to come out here and make a difference. We put down the weed, we put down the drugs, we put down the life of crime, and we came and cleaned our souls up to be able to come out and serve our people, man. And that's what we're doing. So you can do the same thing. Come out here, clean, come put your picture in the hand. Clean yourself up, become a part of this nation, become a part of this body, and that's going to be the best help. Just like Christ told Matthew, he said, put that tax collecting down. Come with me, follow me. He told Peter, I'm gonna make you a fisher of men. He told him, lead a fishing job, come be a fisher of men, because having men to do the work is a reward in itself. It's a necessity. So that's what it is, man. So if you want to get involved, find out who your camp leader is in your zone, and get down here, man. Get to work. Let's get it. Thank you.
Was a band at some point in his life. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh, please give us the power. Power to heal. All manner of sickness. No manner of disease. The power to cleanse the leper. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. Cast them out. In the name of Yahweh.
So be it. Pray and bless Israel. Yahweh. Hashem Yahushua. Barak Lana. Wayasha'al. Wahabayah. Saporia. Barak. Rapah. Magad. Hashem Yahushua. The one Amah. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh. Bless us. And Israel.
And the school. Bless. Heal. Shield. Protect. Loved ones. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you. So be it.
Psalm 121.
Asa'ah. Ayanya. Al-Hahoya. Ma'ayan. Yaba'ah, Isaiah, Ma'ai, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemaiah, Baratazar, Ayathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al-Yanawah, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawah, Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shalmah, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al-Yan, Yamimka, Yawamah, Ashamash, La'ah, Yakayaka, Wayara, Walayala, Yahweh, Yashmarka, Makara, Yashmar, Yahweh, English. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Yasha'ala shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The Lord is thy shade upon thy
Shalom Yasha'ala, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua B'Rakutah, Yahweh Shemar Al-Dam Ba'ashem Yahushua. This is the Isupk. Started out 1 West, 425th Street, Harlem, New York in 1969. Under Commanding General Yohana, we're here to teach the truth of the Bible to so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians are the real Israelites according to the scriptures. Today is, of course, the Lashawan Kodash, or aka Ancient Hebrew class, also known as the Holy Tongue. Lashawan Kodash means Holy Tongue. This is the class that we teach every Friday, where we go deep into the scriptures. We break down the Old Testament because the Old Testament was written in Hebrew, and more specifically, ancient Hebrew in its the derivative language of what is known across the whole earth. All right, the oldest language that is known of on the earth. People try to say it was the Sumerians and this and that and whatnot, but the oldest language that was written is what you see on the board right here. This is the oldest language. This is the Lashawan Kodash, or aka Ancient Hebrew. What we do in this class is we can show you how to read this, understand this, and also how to put together this. As we get closer towards the end of the month, start off the beginning of each month with basics, vocabulary, pronunciation, characters, things like that. And then as we progress through each month, we get more into things like more advanced subjects, sentences, or entire scriptures in that case. This is the scripture right here that we're going to be focusing on at the beginning of our class today, that we're picking up from our previous class, because we need to break down each and every word to get a better understanding of how the root words are combined with some of the laws in the Hebrew. Now, slide. I got to fix this. I don't want to have to glare on the screen while we're going over this paragraph here. Okay. As a practice. Now, of course, we could take a whole entire class to just pronounce this, right? This is a lot. This is especially if you're new to understanding Hebrew, if you're new to seeing the characters, or aka hieroglyphs, or however you want to call them, symbols. These are the characters of the Lashawan Kodash, which, of course, are known with anybody. Your name, everything that you know of, and does not have any. There's no filler letters in Lashawan Kodash. It is directly to the point. It makes it quick, and that's how Black, Hispanic, and Native American people have been ever since the nation of Israel ever even was created. You understand? And even the spirit within the forefathers that came before them, Abraham and Isaac, all the way up to Noah, all the way through to Adam. You understand? And so our way of doing things is very efficient. That's something that Black and Hispanic people can understand, because even though we are forced to speak English, Spanish, Patois, any language that we've been forced to speak throughout our captivities on the earth, we always try to shorten them. We always try to make them as simplistic as possible so that we can get our pointers across and speak more efficiently. And that's exactly what Hebrew is. So what you'll understand is when you start to learn in the class is that Hebrew is easier to understand than even English. It's easier to learn than even Spanish. It's easier to pick up, not only because it's yours to begin with, but it was created for you. And so learning it becomes second nature. But to understand, of course, and this is something that I always mention, Salaki, for those that have been with us for many classes, but I want to mention it for any of the new faces that are joining us today. Post your comments, questions in the chat if there's any specific vocabulary words in the Old Testament that you want broken down, okay? You can go through any of the scriptures from Genesis all the way to Malachi, and if you have any vocabulary words that you want broken down, you post them in the chat, and if I see them in time, I'll make sure to cover them, but we definitely want to get through at least this topic right here. This right here is a scripture that is the Most High is threatening the entire earth with. This right here is a scripture that is so powerful. The Most High is actually the one that invented the smoke. You know what I'm saying? Brothers actually talk about like, oh, well, I want all the smoke. I'm all about that action. I'm all about that get back. I'm all about trying to, stand 10 toes down. But the Most High is the one who created all of that. You understand? That whole entire mentality, that whole entire spirit of standing your ground and understanding that things need to go the way that you say, or else they're gonna get out of it. It's either my way or the highway when it comes to the Most High. That's the way that he feels about it. In this scripture right here, which you may not understand what it says unless you go to Genesis chapter 6 and 13 and read it in your slave languages that you've been forced to learn. But in this class today, we're going to break this language down. We're going to understand even more about what the Most High is saying, because he is saying a threat that most definitely occurs after he says it. The Most High doesn't make threats. He makes promises. He makes orders. He orders for things to happen on the earth, and then they happen. And that's what Genesis chapter 6 and 13 is. We're going to leave this on the board on full screen. And Tazier, I want you to go ahead and pull that scripture. And we're just going to go through it real steady. And we're going to read it in English, and then we're going to go into the Hebrew, and then we're going to read it in the Lashon Kodash. Genesis chapter 6, verse 13. Now, of course, people think that the Old Testament is only dealing with the Old Testament. We have to come out of that mindset, because what we understand is time and everything like that, we think that this was a long time ago, that it doesn't become relevant to what's going on today. But in fact, the scripture says, like as in the days of Noah, which is what Genesis chapter 6 is starting to talk about. People were eating and drinking and giving into marriage. People were being violent. People were being lustful. People were going after their flesh and doing everything that their bodies wanted them to do. No discipline. And with them not having the spirit of the Most High or the understanding of what love is on the earth. This is what you're seeing going on the earth today. Because of that, the Most High has planned something against the earth. Genesis chapter 6 and verse 13. Are you good? You want me to read it? Genesis 6 and 13. You good? You come sit over here, because you got to be by the camera, because that's where the mic is at. Come on over here, bro. You good? What is the Genesis 6:13? Genesis 6. Hey, yo, what up? Young man Jeremiah's got a question in the chat. This is something that we can most definitely cover after we cover this scripture here. we'll make sure to answer your question. I'll have it written on the board in the ancient Hebrew. So what I want you to do, brother, I don't know, Dessa, young man Jeremiah, it's for everybody, really. I want you to get a piece of paper. And I want you to write down these characters right here, right? The way that it looks on the board. And then when we go over the salute, I'm going to do the exact same thing as what you see here. I'm going to show the Hebrew, and then I will also break it down in English. Okay? I need you over here because the fan's on and the mic is right here. Just bring the whole chair. Here you go. Go ahead. Yeah, read it.
Chapter 6, 13.
Mm-hmm. You good? You sure you want me to read it? I can read it because I'm right here next to the mic.
6, 13.
In Genesis, yes. Don't sweat, don't sweat. I got it right here. Genesis chapter 6 and verse 13. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. All right, that's Genesis 6 and 13. Genesis 6 and 13 starts off with a very powerful statement by the Lord where he says that the whole entire earth is about to be destroyed. All flesh on the earth is getting ready to perish. However, he then follows up with the previous scriptures on how there's a survival plan for specifically Noah and his direct family, his 3 sons and their wives. You understand? This statement right here is a threat. It is a statement that shows that the Most High is angry at the earth. Now, a God that is all loving and only capable of love, apparently what Christians say, wouldn't say something like this. You have to understand the Most High is the creator of all emotions as well. He is the creator of all matter and all objects and all minerals and all elements. You understand? The way that everything was put together. So, of course, he has dominion over whether or not they can continue to exist or not. Of course, he has the ability to decide on what continues to thrive and live and what doesn't. Hell, we supposedly, according to science, there was gigantic creatures that lived on the earth millions of years ago, if you go by what they say millions of years ago, and that was what we call the leviathans on the earth, aka the dinosaurs, right? The Most High ordained for them to be destroyed. The only remnant of what they have from that era is birds in the sky and chickens that you eat from Popeyes. Because he cares that much about Israel. That they'll have something to eat that they can cover with breaded, flour and cook on barbecues, on anniversaries and events, and, things like that. You understand what I'm saying? Most High has a narrative driven, and he states things in the scriptures, and this is one of the things that is a pivotal point. This statement right here is a turning point, not just in the book of Genesis, but all of existence, especially when you're dealing with planet Earth. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take each phrase and we're going to write down. See, this is a good part. Yeah, we'll go with this I'm going to use this marker. I'm going to break down what each thing is saying. Because in Hebrew, don't let this intimidate you. Don't let these long character phrases intimidate you. A lot of it is prepositions and possessive adjectives that are what we consider to be fillers, but are just a bunch of consonants in the old language. Okay, we call them fillers because they are what puts a sentence together. You take a verb or you can take a noun, and then you can add these things to it that will then transform the ultimate phrase into a complete thought, or at least part of a complete thought. Okay, that's how Hebrew works. Like I said, it's very efficient. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the interlinear Bible, just like how we do during the Sabbath service. And in the interlinear Bible, we're going to go to the same verse, and we're going to start breaking down what these phrases are saying. Okay? So if you have the Bible Hub app, go ahead and get it. If you don't have it, Bible Hub is an app you can download on Android, iOS. I don't know if it's on Windows, and I don't think anybody has a Windows phone, especially after the hacking that went on today, and Windows and Microsoft has gone completely to crap. So I hope nobody has that, because that might not even work right now. But Android and iOS has been going strong, right? iPhones, Androids, blah, blah, blah. Waya Amar. So what it said. And now it's going to work. Amar. Boom. See that right there? Now, Yah means he. Wa means and. Waya Amar is and he said. Now, the translation from the Hebrew to the English says and said, but if we're being formal, we have to understand that whoever is saying this is a he, because according to the Hebrew right here, it says Waya Amar. Amar being the root word, and the root word Amar means to say. Okay? It means to say, to speak, to utter, to proclaim, to pronounce. And he said, y'all see that? Let me see if I got another marker. Right. I need to pay attention to that. And then over here, Wa and Ya, again, you'll see Wa right here. Looks like almost like a shoehorn, or like the letter Y, right? And then Ya, which looks almost like an arm, which is what it actually represents. Ya. Okay. And he said, I'm trying to back out of the way. I don't want to block the screen. I want y'all to be able to write this down. Okay. This is one of the pivotal scriptures in the Bible that changes the direction of the entire narrative of the scriptures. And so this is a very important scripture right here. And this is one that should be covered in I believe, last Sabbath service, if not the one before that as well. Alahayim. That was terrible. I might have to switch it up. What's up? Hold on. Alahayim. Yom is, of course, and we talked about this when we went into the beginning of Genesis. When we were breaking down the beginning of Genesis and the Lashalam Kodash. Yom is a phrase that is a possessive adjective, which is added at the end. Prepositions are added at the beginning, which is why it starts with pre. Prepositions in Hebrew is read from right to left, so prepositions will be on the right side of the phrase, on the right side of the root word. You understand? And then possessive adjectives are added at the end of a phrase. So if we have a root word, Allah, which means God, or AKA, which is what Allah actually means. Again, I want to cover this because this is important. every language comes from the Lashon Kodash, whether it be English. There's your letter A right there, which looks like an A that's turned to its side. There's your letter La right there, which looks like the L that you know is a capital L in English today. Ma and Na are very similar because you have squigglies, but there's more squigglies on the Ma than the Na, right? Then you have other characters like Za, which look exactly like the letter Z today. There's a lot of languages, if not most of the languages, that come from the structured language of Hebrew. And so even something like Allah, which looks like this, Allah means power. So when I say that, that is not God's name. God's name is Yahweh, according to the ancient Hebrew. But Allah does mean power. Do you understand? And because that means power, then you have to understand what this is. Ha-yam. Ha-yam. So it's saying Allahayam. Allahayam, which means powers. You understand? Powers. And there's your yam right here. Allahayam. And he said, remember, this is Yah. The preposition Yah means he. And then powers, meaning the Most High, who is the one that is in command of all the angels, is ordering for everything that controls the direction of existence. He's ordering for something to take place on the earth and it to happen to a specific thing. I'm going to leave that on the board for a second. Let me see what we got. Usually what I do is I'll have the English already there, but I want to try a different approach. The approach that I want to do now is I want to leave a cliffhanger by having the Lashon Kodash by itself so you can see it in its pure form with not all the mumbo jumbo that's added to it, right? I want you to be able to see it and write it down for what it is. Use a loose leaf paper and make sure to skip a line in between each line. That way you have room to write on top of them once we go into the breakdown of what each phrase is actually saying. But the reason why I want to do that is because I want to have enough room to actually break down all of these things as well, so that you have all the resources necessary to see how it becomes a sentence. It's one thing when you're learning a language to learn the vocabulary, but to understand how that vocabulary word can change to fit a sentence structure is a different challenge. So while you go through the Bible, you're going to see the word Amar all the time. It's all throughout the Bible, right? Because people are constantly talking. So the word said is a very commonly used word, but it may look a little bit different when you're using different prepositions, when it's used in a different past, present, or future tense. Those are things that, well, of course, most of the time it's referred to as a past tense because this is history that we're reading, right? So that's why it may look a little bit different from the root word. And that goes to say without all, any of the words that we use, that it is going to have that same treatment. It's going to have the same amount of modifiers that will affect how it's put into a sentence. And it's practical to go into the scriptures and look at a sentence and break it down word for word and put this together so you can best see how we're piecing together the whole scripture. And it may take an hour to do it, but you'll have learned how to pronounce it. You'll have learned what each word is saying, and then what phrase is added to it. And that's how you start to make the language more useful. All right. And said God. Now, mind you, this is kind of what I always mention. Hebrew is kind of talk like the way Yoda talks. Star Wars, he talks back. Right? It says, and God said, it's saying, and said God, right? One language that's kind of similar to that would be Spanish. Spanish sometimes does the same thing. And of course, the reason why it's like that is because it comes from Hebrew, right? A lot of these languages come from Hebrew, so some of their rules and some of their mannerisms have translated over to different languages throughout time. So Now we got these two words here. We're going to continue. So we're going to go to Genesis again 6:13, and we're going to continue to read in this scripture right here. Noah, la not, not. No, not is the name Noah. Okay, la means two. Where's your preposition for la? It's right here. La means two. So Noah. Y'all seeing that? It's straight up. And again, Noah, Nach is the name for Noah, and that name, of course, means rest, or also known as Hold on, wait 1 second. All right, good. Let's live right now. Let me see if I show up. So when I walk up here, you tell me I'm gonna be able to see me. All right. We apologize for technical difficulties. You know, there's hacking that's going on. They're trying to keep the truth being spread out. Or maybe it's just somebody stepped on the damn, you know what I'm saying? Listen, man, this truth is going to continue to come out. So, listen, such a pivotal scripture like this, we don't want to miss this, right? Now, we know the Most High is saying something to Noah so far when we're breaking down the scripture, but we want to come through and break down the entire scripture. And, brother, if you're still in the chat, I hope you're still there, but we are going to answer your question after this is finished. But I want to go ahead and get through this. We'll try to make it real quick, okay? All right, so going back again to Genesis chapter 6 and verse 13, we're just going to continue to break down this precept, okay? The Most High is talking his smack right now to the whole earth. Now, luckily, Noah is not feeling the full weight of what the Most High is saying here because he knows that the Most High is going to work with him and to save him. But what he's saying right here is something that's going to affect the continuation of all of mankind on the planet Earth. And that it's going to narrow down all the seeds of the people on the earth to him because he will be the sole survivor and him and his family are going to be the ones that survive what destruction the Most High has planned. Now, there's a scripture that does say that the Most High was not going to destroy the earth with water or flood anymore, like on a grand scale. But there still is the nuclear option, which is something that we're looking at in this day and age. Okay? Genesis chapter 6 and verse 13. Quatazah. Quatazah means the end. The end of all. Apologies, hopefully it's legible. And then Bashar. Bashar is flesh. And it is the full root word. Flesh. And said Yahweh to Noah, the end of all flesh. And then you have has come, which is Ba'a. Ba'a right here. Has come. So let's read that in the Lashon Kodash. Y'all see the screen? Repeat after me. Waya Amar. Alahayim. Lanat. Fatazah. Kal. Bashar. Ba'a. Alright? Remember that. Waya Amar. Alahayim. Lanat. Fatazah. Kal. Bashar. Ba'a. This is what the Most High said to him. It may have sounded exactly like that because, again, the Lashon Kodash does not use any vowels or anything like that. So this is the closest that we could possibly know that we are getting to how it was pronounced thousands of years ago. Y'all understand? The scripture in Ecclesiasticus, before you get into the Ecclesiasticus, in the preface, it tells you that the Lashon Kodash has a more powerful backing behind it spiritually. And that uttering the words in Hebrew has a more powerful effect than to utter them in English. So when these words are being said, things change on the earth. When we read prayers, like you saw in the beginning of class, when we were going through the videos, and we were showing you footage of these Hebrew Israelites, you know, in the garments with the fringes on, following God's laws, and reading in this language here. There is a power behind it that we cannot explain through science. You understand? There's a power behind it that we have to understand is what is pushing the narrative on the earth because we're saying it. Because we're using this language, which is the holy tongue, And when we say things and pray to the Most High for things to happen, things actually happen. When we read Psalm 83 and it talks about, you know what I'm saying, punishing the enemies of the Most High, you're seeing nations crumble. You're seeing presidents get assassinated, or at least attempted to be assassinated. You're seeing the Most High's narrative continue on the earth because why? We're coming closer to our culture. Just like how Scripture refers to the birth pangs as they start to pick up and increase, like a woman in travail, that everything starts to pick up. Events start to happen more often. Now you have the South China Sea and escalations and naval drills between Russia, China against Taiwan and the United States. Then you got Ukraine and Russia, and then you got all the different fronts, Israel and Hamas. Now you have more war fronts. Now you have more pestilence. Now you have more famine and destruction. Because we're saying these words right here. And you have the chance to learn these things. So you have to understand the responsibility that comes from learning how to say these things. The Isupk, the Command General Yohana, is the only Hebrew Israelite group that I even know of that dives deep into the Hebrew and uses it on a regular basis. While the rest of these camps out here, they don't even use the Hebrew. They might know Yahweh Hashem Yahshua and Tuab and Shalom and that kind of stuff, or maybe they have some other version of it that goes back to the modern Hebrew, but are they actually sticking with the Lashon Kodesh? Y'all understand what I'm saying? This is a very important thing. The ancient Hebrew is a vital part of our culture. It is what we are supposed to know. Because without it, we lose our power as a culture. We've been forced to speak English and Spanish, and we pride ourselves in being able to manipulate it and deconstruct it and reconstruct it in ways that sounds great for hip hop and rap and all these sorts of things. But when are we going to start rapping in this language? Because when you rap in this language, when you speak in this language, the whole entire planet changes because of how powerful this language is. I hope you understand the responsibility that comes from that. And I hope you understand that when the Most High says it, like he says it right here, that it happens. The Most High says to Noah, the end of all flesh has come. And guess what? We know that that actually happened. And I haven't even finished the scripture because now it's going to explain to you how that's going to happen. I want you to make sure to write this down because I want you to understand how to pronounce these words. I want you to understand that these words were pronounced by the Most High himself. Or this is what we believe to be the most accurate form of what it was that he said to Noah, because Noah heard it through his ears and it sounded like something, and we believed it to be sounding just like this. You understand? So you have to show the Most High some more respect when it comes to this language. Repeat it again after me. Waya Amar. Alahayim, Lanak, Fatazah, Kal, Bashar, Ba'ah. Next phrase. La Panya. Panya means to face, which means before me. La means to, and Yah as possessive adjective means mine. So the translation reads, has come before me. Kaya, which means for. Okay. Now we have the next phrase, mala'ah, which is filled. And the root word for that is actually malah. Filled. Ratada. We all know that one because we know this right here. We've seen this plenty of times throughout the Bible. We know that. Hold on, I gotta keep changing markers so that y'all can see it. Oh, Earth. Hamas, which means violence or with violence. The root word Hamas, violence. Is this a coincidence that you have the Arabic people, Hamas, which are committing violence against the fake Jews, the Israelis? Hamas means violence. In this scripture, it is saying with violence. You understand? When the Most High sees that the world is filled with violence, he does it. The Most High has created existence to be completely filled with violence. However, when it comes to mankind, he expects a different set of parameters for what mankind is capable of. If you look at the animal kingdom, there is violence in the animal kingdom because every being that exists on earth craves one thing, and that is energy. If you have a pet dog, if you have a pet cat, all that dog does when you're eating at the dinner table is just looking at you because they want some of the energy that you're receiving from the food that you're eating. If you have a pet cat, they're meowing at you in the morning because they're trying to get you to fill their bowl with what's it called, catnip or whatever the hell you give them, kibbles and bits, because they need that energy. You understand? And because of that, violence takes place all throughout the earth and the animal kingdom as well, especially in the animal kingdom. Because when you look at that, you look at cheetahs and lions and bears and everything that is a hunter that hunts after other living creatures. And then you look at the animals that eat vegetables, and guess what? They're also eating living creatures. I don't give a damn if it's a deer eating grass. That grass is alive. You understand what I'm saying? That grass receives energy from the sun, and that energy becomes the grass. And then that deer eats the grass, gets energy from the grass. So ultimately, all these animals get energy from the sun. That is done through violence against a living creature. You understand what I'm saying? The whole earth is designed to have that aspect. But when it comes to mankind, we're supposed to have a different approach to what it takes to get the things that we need. So there is much violence on the earth. Most High has been fed up with what's going on. You don't think the Most High doesn't see the assassination attempts, that he doesn't see the bombs being dropped on innocent children and women? That he doesn't see the police putting their neck on black men in the ghetto? There's going to be a phase shift on this earth, and it's going to be because we, as the actual Hebrew Israelites, are going to understand our language again, and that the words that we utter have an impact on the earth, because the Most High sees that our efforts to come back to our culture are being fulfilled just as the prophecies say that they would be. That we would receive a new language, that we would call to him in the places where we've been scattered amongst the earth. Lashon Kodash is the class that should have thousands of viewers every class, and yet it doesn't. That is the shame of all of Israel. Because we would rather see the clips and videos that deal with the violence on the earth rather than the cure for the violence on the earth. Ma Pan Yaham. Ma Pan Yaham means through them. Panyam. Panyam. Which comes from the root word pana, which means to turn. Okay? But this is a different thing. This means through them. Pan Yaham. So like, yeah, Pan Yaham, which means through them. I'm going to go to the next one. And it says, Bahananya. Wahananya, which means now behold. Root word of this phrase right here is ana. This is behold. Ananya, which means now behold. When you look at the possessive adjective, na means there, and ya means my. Now behold. And the word right here means and. So let me actually write that. So now let's say and now behold. And then it says ya, which is my. And when you look at the English translation, you'll only see these words right here, now behold. But more specifically, if you look at it in what it's actually saying, it fills the sentence even more with what the Most High is saying to Noah. Now, finishing the rest of the scripture here, it says, Mashach Yatham, Mashach Yatham, which means I will destroy them. Thumb is a plural, kind of like young, but thumb is them. All right, now the root word for that, 7843, is shakath. Shakath. It technically is these right here, but without this. Shakath, which means to ruin. So I'm just going to box this entire part right here. Shakyeth, or in this scripture, Shakyetham. Because again, what happens in Hebrew is when you're converting the phrase to fit a sentence, there are prepositions and possessive adjectives that complete the thought. But because thumb or yum, technically yum means plural. So we know that thumb in this case is actually referring to the plural because you have the ya and the ma right here. So yum. But there's a tha in the middle of it, and that's mainly because the modern or Syrian Hebrew has it in that order. But the actual root word is shakath. So if I were to be even more correct, if I were to be absolutely precise, I would actually change this. I would actually correct Esau's writing right here and say mashakathya. Mashakathya. But in their pronunciation, which is a little bit more modernized in how they put sentence structures, it is shakathyatham. You understand? Because you still have the yum, which would fulfill the plural version right here. But shakath is the root word for ruin or destroy. Do you understand? Now, the ma, say it in here. Ma, which means I. It says, I will destroy them. Now, the next word is atha, which means with. This is just one phrase by itself. With. And then, of course, you have the final one, which is ratazah, which root word is earth, which has the prepositional phrase the, which would be this right here. Don't get it confused. Again, when Hebrew is read, it is read from right to left. When we read it in English, it is read from left to right, which is why the is on this side when I have it in English, but the ha, which means the in the Hebrew, is on the right side. So it's something that you pick up along the way as you continue to break down the scriptures and get a better understanding of how to pronounce these words. Now, I want to leave this on the board for at least 5 minutes. Right now, it's 8:24. So for those of you that haven't had the chance to write this down, now is the time to do it. But now we actually have all my chicken scratch handwriting, which looks terrible. But it actually breaks down in color coordination exactly what these phrases are saying. So now we can actually pronounce the full scripture in the ancient Hebrew. But before we do that, let's read it in the English first in the King James English translation. So copy R, let me get Genesis chapter 6, verse 13, Bible Shop. We're going to read it in English. And then as we go through it in the Hebrew, we're going to break it down phrase by phrase. In the Hebrew? You don't have to, just leave the board as it is. You can just get it on your phone. There are people watching. 6:13.
The book of Genesis, chapter 6 and verse 13 in the Lost Rock of God. Why y'all mark?
No, you just read it in English first.
Oh, English?
Yeah.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6 and verse 13. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me. For the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth.
Which we know as we go through Genesis, we read that Noah is, in fact, building an ark to survive the means by which the Most High has decided to destroy the earth. Now, with that being said, there are, of course, animals in the ocean and things like that most likely could survive flood waters and things like that. We don't know the extent of which the earth would be affected by the water, other than the fact that all of the seed of mankind would be affected by it. You understand? In fact, there was a point in time where after the flood had taken place, Moses had been sending out birds to try to see if they could fetch a piece of grass to show that there has been landfall somewhere, right? Which took a long time for it to happen, but eventually it happened. But everything aside from that, see, because the thing is, the ark didn't actually have to have fish on it. Did the ark say anything about any specific fish? It didn't, because their natural habitat is in the actual flood itself. And that's why a lot of the species in the ocean have actually had a longer lifespan, or at least what they would consider to be evolutionary span that would extend far beyond even the days of Noah. That's why sharks have looked the exact same for millennia, for 10,000 plus years, because they've been perfected by having the ability to survive in those conditions even beyond the times of the flood. But that's just one specific animal. All the other animals that are land dwellers and all the mammals and all the humans, which are technically mammals, are on those same, dependencies of having land, of being able to be above the water. So those are the things that the Most High was going to destroy on the earth through the way of the flood. Now let's get this scripture in the Lashon HaKodesh and let's break it down in the Hebrew. Go ahead. Oh, just repeat after me. I'm going to break it down right here.
Wayamar,
Alahaya, Lanat, Kwatazah, Ka, Bashar, Ba'a, Lapanya, Haya, Mala'a, Ha'aratasa, Hamas, Mapanyaham, Wahananya, Mashakyatham, Athar, Aha-aratasa. That's what the Most High said. That's what it is. The Most High said to Noah that I'm about to just ruin, I'm about to destroy, I'm going to reset everything using water. Of course, he did that on purpose because there are specific species in the ocean that he wanted to survive. Of course, there are a lot of lawful fish that we are able to eat And so you can imagine the abundance of options that were available for the people that would actually survive this chaos. You understand? But imagine what happens again if the earth is destroyed with fire. Because one thing we know about fire is that it is neutralized by water. So when you look at the scope of the earth, the Most High tends to actually favor the water because it is the bloodline of the earth itself. Life exists because water exists. The Most High said that the earth would abide forever. As long as our sun is in its correct position, which he ordered to be there. Now let's get it into Hebrew and let's read it one more time. Yeah.
So, book of Genesis, chapter 6, and verse 13. Wayamar, Alahayu, Lanak, Baptism, Kab, Bashar, Balak, Lapanya, Kaya, Malak, Harazza, Kamash. Kamash.
It's Kamas. Yeah, without the sh. Try again. There you go. Mapanyaham. There you go.
Ma Shayatham.
Shakyatham. Yeah, scripture right here changes the entire course of the earth forever. It narrows down the bloodline of the people that would be on this earth down to the man that this was sent to. This man right here is where everybody on the planet Earth comes from. Because of this moment right here, the Most High decided that the entire earth will be changed from this point moving forward. Again, I want to leave this on the board for at least 5 minutes before I address the brother's question, because I want to make sure that we finish the class by answering his question, whether he's even here to see it or not. I want to make sure that it's available in our archives in case that brother or sister does come back. Young man Jeremiah out in Odessa, Texas, we'll reach out to you after class is over to send you the link to the finishing part of the class where we cover your question. Okay, because I want to make sure that we answer this question. So I will leave this on the screen for a short amount of time, and we'll pick up from there. Let's give it about 3 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna leave this on the screen for 3 minutes, starting right now. So if you hear that it's just silent, I want to make sure that y'all at least see this on the screen. So it's 8:33. Around 8:36, we will erase what's on the board here so that we can write down the salute that we pronounce in the Hebrew. Give about 3 minutes, y'all. 3 minutes. No, it's good.
Some niggas set it up.
What up, bro? Was he the one in the chat? He had wanted me to break down the salute. I was just giving a couple minutes so they could write down this scripture right here. We just broke down. What's that? Is it 36 yet? What is that? One more minute.
Well, this. That's a problem, bro. That's a problem. This ain't no fucking alcohol.
Slot, sir.
This ain't
Mic is on. One more minute, and then we're gonna break down the salute in the last one Dutch. You know, it mixed up. You know what's crazy is our brothers in the truth of stop eating pork, stop eating shrimp, crab, lobster, put the meat on their head, right? But then they do other things too, like celebrate Passover, stop celebrating Christmas, and start following the actual culture of the scriptures. And then all your parents say, "Oh, so you're Muslim?" Like, come on, bro. Are you not paying attention? Do you not see the shield of David? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then they think that you're Muslim? Like you group it all into one thing. That's just not Christianity. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's 2024. We should be on a different level of thinking at this point. But you know what the problem is? Our children are raised up on that formula and tablets. That's what they're raised up on, right? So everything that comes from that is what's governing their minds. Well, you need to open up some books. You understand? You need to look at some chalkboards and some whiteboards. Because the thing is, the only way you're going to get this language back is if you take it back. It's not going to be given back to you. You have to apply your mind to take back your culture. The scripture says that the saints will take the kingdom. Do you not think that starts with your mind than the physicality? It starts with what you do on a day-to-day basis to build discipline and what you do with what your mind is built. That's why it's so important for us to learn our language. All right? Now, the brother asked the question, and it's a beautiful question. It is one of the most commonly used phrases in our language. I'm going to go ahead and erase the board. If you didn't have time to write it down, just make sure to like the video so you can go back to your previously liked videos and rewind it to where we had it on the full screen. Because if you go to the beginning of the class, we didn't have any English on here. We didn't have any of the boxes and stuff like that. We only have the Hebrew by itself so you can see it in its pure form, unadulterated and untouched. But of course, we have to break it down so that you understand what is being said. So you can, of course, rewind the class to the part of the class where it's only showing what you needed to see for you to write it down. So I will go ahead and erase this now. All right, give me 1 second. So the salute. It's like, I'm just testing these markers out. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing one. So as we know in the Isupk, and a lot of people that know about the Hebrew Israelite movement that actually attempt to use the ancient Hebrew, the salute is one of the most basic greetings of what we say. Now, of course, the most absolutely basic version of what we say is shalom, which means peace. Not shalom, not any other goofy phrase. It's shalom. There are no vowels in between these characters. These are all consonants. However, the salute itself, which the scripture refers to as a holy embrace, it refers to it as by pronouncing the Most High's name, giving credence to Christ, and then requesting those entities to bless you. They're separate entities. They are not conjoined together like what the Christian church says. There is no Trinity that is all in one. So that pronunciation is Yahweh. I feel like these marks would be drying out hella quick. Yahweh. Bahasham. Yahweh Shai. Rock. Thumb. We'll rewrite this whole thing. Yahweh. Bahasham. Yeah. Yahweh Shai. Barak. A thumb. Is that visible? Probably already able to see that. More or less. Yahweh Shai Barak a thumb. Okay. Yahweh Shai Barak a thumb, which means, and this is what it actually means. It says Lord or the Most High. Lord. Bahasham means in the name. Lord is Yahweh. Baha means in the. Sham means name. Baha, and here you see it right here. In the name. Y'all see that? In the name. So Baha Sham. Yahweh Shai, which means in the name of Christ, which means he is the same. Okay. Yahweh Shai, which we're just going to call, let's just say Christ. Barak, which is actually all one root word, it means bless. Barack Obama may have had his name from what may have been but in fact, the word Barak actually is a Hebrew, which means bless. We're not saying Barack Obama is an Israelite. It was most likely a Hamite, you know what I'm saying? Even Commander Jody Hanna denounced Barack Obama when he was put into office. But the reason why it's so important is because the Barak is something that people recognize as something that is negative on the earth, when it is in fact something that's supposed to be positive because it means bless. Literally. In the ancient Hebrew, the word Barak means bless. Okay? It's that simple. But thumb, now here's the thing again. Thumb means them or you all, which means bless you all. But this is a plural version. And so a thumb, which is different from a thah, the difference being that whether you're addressing multiple people or whether you're only addressing one person. A thah means you, singular. A thumb means plural. So I'll give you an example. One of the more common times where we use that example is when we were doing the Sabbath service. And in the Sabbath service, we have a reader that is getting ready to be presented on the podium or at the altar to read in the Lashon Kodesh. They stand at a Majim Shabbat. Majim Shabbat means standing at rest, where they would then state their registry, standing exactly how I am right now. Okay, they'll say their name, the tribe they come from, right, and then they'll stand at a Majim and say Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barak thumb, plural, because they're speaking directly to the two priests that are at the altar, which are more than one person, and then the priest will repeat the salute right back to him. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barak Athah, without the ma at the end. Instead of a ma, it is a ha, because the root word Atha is used as a singular phrase. Atha. You understand? And so that is the breakdown of the salute. Okay, I'm gonna leave this on the board here. Time is kept here. It's about 8:30. Oh yeah, we got it. Okay, it's about 8:40. So we've done good time here. We started the class. We went down, we broke down the scripture from last class, got it down in English. Then we also went and broke down the salute. Continue to post your questions in the class because those are things that we want to prioritize and address as they come. Okay, these classes are not for us that are teaching it; they are for you that is learning it. You understand? And so we scope our classes and cater them to help benefit you as a student that is learning the ancient language on the planet Earth. And that is a very honorable thing for us to, of course, to chaperone, show you through. Of course, we are all learning this together. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that brothers are completely fluent in the Hebrew, that we can talk amongst ourselves completely in the Hebrew as an entire nation, because it is a learning process that we all strive to get to. Just like how it's a learning process for us to understand more of the scriptures and rehearse the righteous acts together as a family. So we continue to learn them things, and then the questions that you ask also edify those that are also paying attention or those that log on and watch these later on. So it's always good to come up with questions, to continue to post them in the chat, just like how the brother did today. Now we, of course, have a breakdown of the salute itself. That's perfectly okay. It's always good to come back and break down the basics so you can see why we do the things that we do. I'm going to leave this on the board for 2 minutes, and then I'm going to come back, and then we'll go ahead and close out the class. All right? So 8:48. They sit in this garage, they dry out, and move that. They just lose their strength. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and close out the class. Okay, this is the Isupk that started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We're here to teach the truth of the Bible. The so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians are the real Israelites according to the scriptures. With that, just know that we're getting ready to do our Sabbath service here within the next 30 minutes. So we'll be continuing what we've done here today in the book of Genesis. We're going to carry that on. I believe we're going to be doing Genesis chapter 8 and 49 verses from, I believe, chapter 8, verse 14 or 15. So we'll be going forward with that. Make sure to tune in, and we're going to get it rock and rolling here pretty soon. With that, shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Baruch Yahweh Shema Hashem Yahushua, to all the brothers and sisters out there. All right, with that, shalom.